So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at the Cello SuperGlide. This is from Cello, which is an Indian pen brand. So these pens are made in India. You can get them in the US on Amazon and eBay and a few other places, but you need to hunt for them. They're not gonna land accidentally on Cello pens. But if you do start searching, you will find a few. SuperGlide, from what I could tell, is sort of like their premium office style ballpoint. They definitely do have less expensive pens, and they do have fancier pens. This is sort of like an everyday pen. I would probably compare it to something like the Bic Crystal, or maybe like a Papermate Ink Joy would probably be the best comparison. Although it's a little bit hard to tell because the Indian market is a little bit difficult to figure out just from being online. The SuperGlide, I'll give you the basics right now, then we'll get into some more details. Fully plastic pen, has a grip section here, rubberized grip. This piece is plastic too. Has that little notch here around the ball, which I think we've seen SuperGlide do a few times in the past, and it uses a standard, I mean, they call it a ballpoint, but I think it's probably like a modern or lubricated ballpoint, which it is a very smooth pen, as you would probably guess from the name. I bought it in a 3-pack, but you could buy these in all sorts of different ways. Here's what it came in. This is the SuperGlide. For whatever reason, this is the fashion, I guess because it's blue, purple, and then pink or magenta, whatever this one is. But it comes in black, green, all the standard colors. Elasto grip, that's the rubberized grip. Ultra smooth writing, that's kind of the point of the SuperGlide. 1.0 millimeter is the tip size, which is kind of like a medium for ballpoint. Here's the ink colors. And then medium, silver tip, not too much else. Again, they are made in India. Cello is an Indian brand. And we've looked at a few different Indian brands here, and they are just like, I don't know, it's just like a cool change of pace. It's not something you see every day in the US. Maybe they're more popular in other markets. But in the US, you see Korean pens, Japanese pens, all this other stuff, French pens, but very rarely Indian pens. So I guess that's pretty much the basics. Fully plastic body. This comes off, revealing a kind of standard looking but very long old school ballpoint tip, ballpoint refill rather. The refill doesn't have any real information on it. I don't think you could buy these refills in the US. I believe you can find them in India, but I haven't been able to find them online. This is all plastic. It's kind of a metallic finish, but you can see a big seam down the middle. Or you should be able to, there you go. You can see the seam down the middle, which I think is a little bit ugly, but you can't really feel it, which is nice. Cello logo. Rubberized grip is a little bit slippery. You could kind of probably tell that it looks a little bit shiny. It has that sort of slightly, I would say, oily rubberized feel that you could tell when the rubber is really hard. So I would say it's better than nothing, but the grooves are what's doing or what's giving you the grip. It's not the fact that it's this elasto grip or rubberized or anything like that. It's really just the fact that they put the grooves in there. I would hope it would break in over time, but I've used this pen a bit, and I've used other SuperGlides in the past, and it hasn't really gotten any better. This piece up front comes off. It is plastic, so it's chrome-plated plastic or chromed plastic. Not really chrome-plated, it's just like chrome-looking plastic. These things tend to degrade over the time and chip and look really ugly, because the plastic under them is usually like a weird gray color. So I would say that's a downside, but not a deal breaker. It was just as a pretty affordable pen. It's hard to tell exactly what the pen price is because by the time you buy it in the US, you're like paying shipping and these like sort of hidden fees. So maybe I paid maybe $5 for the set, maybe $6, something like that. But in India, they would be much cheaper. In the same way, any local price and any local part would be much cheaper. Same with like a US pens are cheaper in the US than they are in India or Europe. Cap is pretty standard, all plastic. It has this sort of little spring looking mechanism here, but it's not a spring, that's just a piece of sprung steel, and that attaches to the clip. So the clip is actually quite strong, and it doesn't seem like it'll break. I've had good luck with this clip, so nice little perk there. It does post fine, no problem there, and the cap goes on really nicely. It's actually, for a budget ballpoint pen, it's pretty nicely made. From a size standpoint, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5.5 inches. Look at next to a again, just for reference point, we'll use a crystal, a Bic Crystal, and then a Papermate Inkjoy. So pretty similar, a little bit longer than those two. So the interesting thing is that this pen is fully round, so it does roll on the table. You'll notice that the Bic is hexagonal and the Papermate is triangular, so they don't roll. It's not a huge deal. A lot of people make round pens, but interesting point. So it is on the long side, but the crystal is surprisingly long. It just has a small cap. Do a quick writing test, and we'll wrap this one up. It's actually a really nice writer. So this is the Cello SuperGlide, and it's just a really nice, smooth ballpoint pen. Almost feels like you're writing with a gel, but it's a ballpoint and it's quite smooth. It kind of reminds me of like a Schneider slide, one of those, like the forgetting the name, but like the X755 or whatever it is. It's, again, nice and smooth ballpoint. It goes really nicely over the paper. You can see that this is why, I forgot why it was called the Fashion Series. It's called the Fashion Series because it's not a true blue. It's a light blue, a purple I haven't even used yet. I'm not a big purple fan. And the pink. All of them are smooth. Really nice color. I would say the color really does pop on these. The color is more akin to a gel than a typical ballpoint. So nice job there. And it's really quite smooth for a 1.0 millimeter. The ink, again, they call it a ballpoint, but I don't know if it's a hybrid, but I think it is a lubricated ballpoint, so it is a nice writer. Here is the Papermate Inkjoy, not the Inkjoy gel, just the standard Inkjoy. And this is also very smooth. I would say this is a 1.0 millimeter as well, so this will be, like I would say, a fully apples to apples comparison. The Papermate is not as smooth as the SuperGlide. So if you want a really smooth ballpoint, then SuperGlide is a good way to go. You know, I mean, there are smoother ones. It's not like the Papermate is the apex of smoothness in budget ballpoints, but it's, I would say, better than most. And then here is the, sorry about that, here's the Bic Crystal. This is a kind of the standard one. This one, it might not be ideal for comparison purposes, but it's clearly very old. This pen might be 10 years old, I don't really know. But you could see here's an old school black ballpoint, not nearly as smooth. And it might be a little hard to tell in this coloring. Here's the line between the two, but this is definitely a slightly grayer tone. Not like markedly grayer, but slightly grayer than this. This modern one has a darker black than this Bic black, and it kind of gets a little bit hard to tell in this lighting, but the Bic, sorry about that, the Bic black is definitely a little bit lighter, and it's a little bit more prone towards the railroading than the modern kind of lighter or looser ballpoint ink. So that is a quick run through the Cello SuperGlide. It is a nice ballpoint. I would definitely say if you're looking for a fun new ballpoint pen to check out, the SuperGlide is a nice pickup. That said, it's not something I would say you should definitely hunt down. There's so many good ballpoints out there and some very smooth ones. I know we've talked about the Zebra Tapley clip, which is cheaper than these and much easier to find, at least in the US. So if you are looking for a really smooth ballpoint, that tends to be my go-to. That is the Zebra Tapley clip. And there are many of similar ballpoints out there where you can get if you want smoothness, but if you want something different, you want to experiment and find a new brand, I think the Cello SuperGlide is a really nice place to start. So I think that should about covers it. If you have any feedback about cello pens, or you could teach me anything about Indian pens, I would greatly appreciate it. It's just again, you know, Japan, Korea, these other places are sort of like explored territories. So getting into Indian pens has been a fun little experiment, and You could find some from Cello and Mitima and some other ones, and Naranja, and I don't know, they've been fun, so check it out. I would love to get some feedback. Shoot me an email at unsharpened.com. Thanks for watching.